We're gathered here today to talk about one of the biggest stories in pro wrestling. It's a story that stars one man, one company, and actually, you know what? Hold on. Yesterday, I released this video, which was obviously an April Fool's Day prank. I do not work for WWE, and clicking this image led to the brand new episode of Mortal Kombat Monday, where I played through the 1997 classic Mortal Kombat 4 with Liu Kang and I hit sick-ass fatalities. Was that a low-down dirty trick? Yes, it was. Do I regret it? No, I don't. I will never miss an April Fool's Day here on the channel, and maybe someday, eventually, you guys will realize that the only time I make this face is on April 1st. But that's neither here nor there. Today, we're going to talk about CM Punk, we're going to talk about AEW, and I'm going to roll the intro here, I'm going to get my shit together, and we'll dive right into it. This is 616 Wrestling. Every video here on 616 Entertainment is made possible by my supporters over on Patreon. If you enjoyed the show here today, consider signing up. You'll get early access, exclusive videos and podcasts, and more. Pro Wrestling Tees has the merch. As always, thank you for watching. You might wonder what led to this video being made today. You know, this is a story that has been trickling out over a very long period of time. Some of this information dates back to the spring of 2022. Why not be more timely? Why even chime in with such delayed input? Well, the answer to that question is because I never really intended to cover any of this at all. If you're watching this video the day it released, it is April 2nd, 2024. Yesterday, CM Punk was a guest on Ariel Helwani's MMA Hour, where he gave his incredibly blunt side of the story on everything that happened. I met Ariel Helwani back in 2011, and I was dressed like this. Oh, that's why he's talking about this now. It's in the news again. If he talks about it now, if he makes a video now, that video will draw the views that the Frankenstein Retrospective, Alien vs. Predator, Batman, every episode of GM Showdown. This video will draw the numbers that those videos couldn't. And that's not why I'm doing this. I mean, it would be nice, but that's not the entire purpose. I'm making this video because of a tweet that I put up on March 26th. That is 6 days before Punk guested on the MMA Hour. This is the tweet. You're seeing it on screen. There are no names mentioned, not of a person, not of a company. The only context for what I'm saying is the image itself. Any conclusions drawn from that image and those words are those of the reader. They're not mine, because I didn't name any names. It's worth noting that I very rarely post on social media these days unless I'm promoting something that I'm very proud of. You know, Grand Theft Auto Vice City Retrospective, I'll tweet about that. SmackDown vs. Raw 2008 Retrospective, I'll tweet about that. But a random Let's Play style video, an episode of Mortal Kombat Monday or 616 Nitro or something, that doesn't make the cut. Will this video make the cut? Go to my Twitter and find out. I also just don't really share my own personal thoughts or opinions on social media anymore because I have found that when it's not a complete waste of time, I just wind up feeling like I'm jerking myself off. And nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see that. This thought got the best of me. The biggest bag fumble in pro wrestling history. So I found a nice photograph that I felt complimented my thought. I typed it up and I sent it out into the world. And the next thing I knew, over 31,000 people were very, very mad at me. 31,000 people I'd never heard of. 31,000 people who don't follow me, for that matter. Some defended their favorite logo. Some personally insulted me. These people don't even know me. They're insulting a guy who can rip a sick swanton off the garage roof as long as there's enough snow on the ground. On one hand, I felt like I knew this would happen. And then on the other hand, I actually felt a little sad. I felt all of this attention, very little of it positive, by the way, and I just felt like, you know, this is probably why people tweet such insane shit in the first place. They live for the attention. Nobody in their right mind really wants to live and die for a mediocre movie director. But when you've got an army of people who will stand by you and treat you like family just because you both love the smell of shit, you know, it's kind of sad that people search for such support in such dire environments. On a third hand, and yeah, I did mention this, but we are role-playing Goro for this bit, I saw a ton of love for a professional wrestling company. A ton of love. The delusions over the amount of knowledge that some of these people think they have regarding the situation was very entertaining, if a little concerning. And on the fourth hand, I did mention that we were Goro, you can take exactly what I just said, take out the words professional wrestling, and insert professional wrestler. I didn't take a stance with this tweet. These people so violently responding without even following me is an important piece of the puzzle, because they have no idea how I feel about anything. Some assumed I was a WWE diehard who was dunking on AEW. Incorrect. I may work for WWE, but I have my own integrity, thank you. No, I haven't consistently watched WWE since probably 2017. Many others posited that I hate AEW and that I put no blame on Punk over everything that happened. Also incorrect. I blame Punk for things that he had nothing to do with. 9/11? CM Punk. I was with AEW from day one. I loved it, even if I had to sit through Joey Janela matches. I can be quoted as saying, hold on, here. Cheyenne Nelson asks, what are your thoughts on AEW? I like AEW a lot. I watch AEW Dynamite every week. Big fan. That's really the only wrestling I watch anymore, so big fan of AEW. There was a time when this was true, and I felt that way long before CM Punk ever showed up. But I can also be quoted as saying this. It was like this high, and the thing went boom, and it hit me right here. Oh. And it hurt so bad, and I was like, God damn it.
Surprised it didn't knock you out.
I was like, there's no way I'm not busted open. I'm supposed to see Corey Feldman tonight. Like, I didn't want to go to the hospital. I don't have health insurance, you know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to get stitched up. So take my words for whatever you will. How many matches has Punk had on television since coming back? That was one of the challenges levied in my direction, which is strange. Because my tweet didn't say anything about in-ring performances. It didn't say anything about consistency. I tweeted about fumbling the bag. You know, shooting the golden goose, killing the cash cow, dropping your literal money printing machine into the bathtub. Now, why did you bring the money printing machine into the bathroom in the first place? I don't know. That's a question for you to answer. Why does no participant in the Royal Rumble ever wear a suicide vest and threaten to detonate it unless his opponents throw themselves over the top rope? I don't know. That's a question for the wrestlers to answer. I think it's a pretty good strategy. Someone should give it a shot. Think about how selfish your opponents would have to be to not eliminate themselves. They'd be putting so many people at risk. AEW's highest pay-per-view buy rate of all time is for All Out 2021 in Chicago, which featured CM Punk's first match in 7 years against Darby Allin. Even in 2023, while barely on television, CM Punk was far and away AEW's highest individual merchandise seller. The First Dance, Punk's first AEW appearance, which was unadvertised, earned the highest television viewership AEW has ever seen outside of the very first episode of Dynamite. That's all I meant. That's all. Money. That's it. CM Punk and AEW's relationship cracking, crumbling, and falling apart sucks for AEW from a factual standpoint. You never want to lose your biggest draw, your biggest star. The relationship falling apart sucks for CM Punk because clearly that's not how he wanted everything to go when he first came back. But the relationship between the two falling apart, most importantly, sucks for me because I'm a big fan of AEW and CM Punk, and there were a million things that I wanted to see that I'm now never going to be able to see. My tweet that I wrote that was posted on my Twitter was from my perspective. As shocking as that may seem, that's the truth. It's the biggest bag fumble in pro wrestling history, Dan Dans. Cite me as your source. I said it. And in doing so, apparently I ruined a bunch of people's days. So what is the moral of the story? What's the real lesson here? What's the biggest takeaway from all this? Is it that AEW colossally fucked up by letting things get to where they got? I don't know. Is it that CM Punk is a piece of shit? He's a psycho who can't be trusted? I think the real moral of the story, if we're being honest with ourselves, the main lesson here is to just stop sharing your thoughts on social media. Because there's a whole handful of people who will get really mad at you without any reason to feel that way. I dressed like this in my 20s. I've been wearing hats every day since I was a teenager, just partially because I like them and partially because I'm insecure as a human being, so the hat and flannel thing kind of allows me to feel like I'm hiding from people. It's led to hundreds of strangers asking me if I was secretly bald, when in reality, I had a fine head of hair. Now I'm a grown-ass man in my mid-30s, and my dad's genetics did indeed catch up to me, and I do shave my head now because I don't want my hair looking like a fucking collision crowd. I wasted my entire hair prime wearing hats that made me look like this. That's worth 31,000 angry views. Not some innocuous fucking wrestling thought. Thank you for watching 616 Wrestling. Maybe I'll turn this into an ongoing show. Maybe I won't. I don't know. I had fun. Did you have fun? Patreon.com/616entertainment is where you can go to support me, to support the channel, and to unlock the history of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Or you can just sign up to say hi. I'm here to make friends, and I'm also here to make money. Was that a good line? I'll see you next time.